Welcome back to Retro ReWire. My name is JJ and we are back for another In the Hunt episode. And what you're seeing here is footage from 2021 because we're going to be going to the Surugaya in Shinjuku at the Marui building. And we're going to continue comparing the stock and prices from 2021, 2020 to present day. And as you see there, like, comment, and subscribe, please. Really helps out the channel. But here you can see the display case, how well stocked it is in 2021. All sorts of machines, consoles, handhelds, but we're going to be focusing on the games. That was the first part, was all about hardware. And then here's 2020, kind of a similar arrangement. And then present day, here we are. This is what you can expect to see. And a little bit of bare bones looking there in the bottom. But let's start here with the Sega Saturn, PlayStation, and other CD-ROM based systems. We got Polestar coming in at 15,400. That's about an increase of about 5,000, but Cotton 2 is a lot lower nowadays. And then we have the Chase HQ compilation for 12,600. I really would like to pick up a copy of that. And then LSD in the back for 95,000, but here we have Batsugan for 21,000. Now in 2021 it was coming in at 15,800, so that one also saw a bump. And then we have Lomax, and then we have Cleopatra Fortune. That's some Taito game. But the one in the back, Street Fighter, 28,000. And then in 2020, it was 29,000. So that one saw a small decrease. So that alongside Cotton 2, a few games that were a slightly lower price this time around. But back in 2021, this is what that section looked like. We have Radiant Silvergun, that's about the same price. And then we have Dracula X, 17,000 back then. And then if you see here on the left, 21,000, that's what I paid. And then on the top there's a game that's kind of on its side. That's actually Castlevania, just under 20,000, and that's present day price. But back then, 17,000, and that one says that the manual was damaged. Then we have Lomax next to Splunky, the skunk or something like that. 20,000, and they actually had two copies back then. Same price for both. And Lomax, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was coming in at 25,000. And look at 25,000 for Street Fighter Alpha 3 on Saturn. That game is close to like 40,000, a lot more. Battle Garaga, I can't remember what it's going for currently. And then we have Elevator Action Returns. That game's always been a little bit pricey. And then we have Final Fight Revenge, 32,000 back then. That's one that you don't really see. And then jumping back further to 2020, here we have a few more Saturn games. And as you can see there, we have Cotton Boomerang for 29,800. We got the Falcom Classics Collection for 11,000. Then we have Border Down and Last Hope. I haven't seen those games in quite some time, actually. But that doesn't mean that they're not available. It's just, inventory is constantly changing, especially at a store like this. But back to present day, we'll go up above. We got Little Ralph in the back there for 52,000. What else do we have here? We got a couple of handheld games, some Vita games, and Famicom games. What else do we have here? We got some DS action here. Really not sure what that is. Another Chase HQ game, this time for the Game Boy Color. And then we have Kid Dracula coming in at 1,600, 1,800. Or 18,000. Now going back to 2021, let's just kind of compare here the stock. I mean, Famicom games, handheld games, they're pretty well loaded. I wasn't thinking this would sell. Look at the price on that Speedy Gonzalez game. But it's no longer here. And then here we have a few more. We got some Genesis games there, Flashback and Batman, all the Turtles games for the NES. 14,000 for Castlevania 3 there. And then we got Shatterhand for 19,900. I believe it goes by I think that's Shatterhand. I could be wrong, but yeah, Castlevania 3, 14,000. And some more Speedy Gonzalez. What else do we have? Metal Gear, Babel, and then going to 2020, they had quite a bit of handheld games also, but in the loose cart variety. Look at that, Zero Mission, 2,600. That game certainly jumped up in price as well. There's even some, looks like North American NES carts in the back there. But definitely a lot more stock back then than what we're seeing today. But Not everything is doom and gloom, as you will see later on in the video. F-Zero Climax 6000. That one's always been a little bit pricey too. Then we have Phalanx for the Game Boy Advance. 24,800 is what they had it for back then. Had no idea that that got a release. Then we got Rockman. That's a pretty clean copy that they had for 28,000. And then we have Castlevania, the cart edition, coming in at 50,000 just because of the box damage. Now let's take a look and see what part 1 and 3 go for now. 80,000 for that version nowadays. This was at a hard off in Gunma. And then 20,000 for Castlevania 3. And then we have Gradius 2 for 9,800. But back to 2020 here. Quite a bit of handheld titles. And we got Holy Diver. I believe that's a Famicom. And then 10,000 for Kid Dracula. We're going to see that in the present day. We're just kind of jumping through time here. But yeah, as you can see there, what price was it? It's a little bit hard for me to see, but 1,000 or 18,000, so or 16,000. A little bit of a jump. Dungeons and Dragons, that one's creeping up into the 20,000 range, and that one's showing no signs of slowing down. We have Metal Black, and then we have some Saturn delivery game there for 270,000. And like I said in the bottom here, not a knock against the stuff that's here, but this part is looking pretty sad. A lot of empty space. Then we have a few Ivy the Kiwi. I've always been interested in that one. Then we got a Cave compilation shooter for the 360 and PlayStation 2 games. Not a whole lot. Only like about 5 actually. And then in 2020, they had a few more. Outrun 2 is one that has jumped in price considerably. My goodness. And then we have Snow Bros. Look at that, 280,000. But look at this, 330,000 at a hard off. That one in Gunma. So you're getting a little bit of a deal here. But then we have Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission, and then Metroid Samus Returns. All of them over the 10,000 mark. And then we got Far East of Eden 2 back there for 14,000. Some Castlevania action for the DS for 19,800. Order of Ecclesia, I think. And then look, 2 Neo Geo games is all that's left. Now back in 2020, look at the Neo Geo selection that they had. And Samurai Showdown 4 was 29,800 yen. That game is nearing like the 50,000, 60,000 mark. And what do we have there? 62,000 for The Last Blade 2. That one is definitely a lot more as well. And we got some Castlevania stuff there, but the main focus here is like the Neo Geo stock. We have Double Dragon in the back coming in at 22,000 and some change. And we got this Dicing Knight up front for 62,000. I haven't seen that one since. But yeah, Double Dragon. That's the one that I don't really see too often. And then 2021, it was dwindled down to this. Now, Blues Journey is still coming in at the same price. It's the exact same copy at 78,000 as 2020's price. But yeah, then we have Mega Drive. There's some pretty big heavy hitters here. If you hit start, or if you hit pause, you can kind of get a closer look. But back in 2020, they had a lot more loose carts. And some of these are priced rather well actually back then. Gunstar Heroes for 2,500 yen cart only. That's not too bad. That's a great game. We got Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for 4,800. Splatterhouse Part 2, 8,600. Contra Hardcore for 10,000. That game is like 40 to 60,000 complete nowadays. And then this is what they had. Battletoads for 26,900. And then Steel Empire, 21,000. That's probably one of the greatest covers on the Mega Drive. And we got a Less there. And a few more games in the back. Now this is what they had in 2020, so definitely a lot more. But you guys will see, not everything is doom and gloom as we tour the store in the second half of this video. But look at Turtles in Time, 39,000 yen. My goodness. And back in 2020, 18,600. That's like the biggest jump. Batman Returns, 10,000. We got some Battletoads action there for 26,000, and then the Game Boy version for 20,800. And there's quite a bit of games in the case here, so definitely feel free to pause, because I'm just kind of focusing on the obvious here. We got Dracula X for $27,000 and Super Valis for $12,800. Now let's go ahead and jump back in time to 2020. And once again, a lot of loose cards. We got Kiki Kai Kai for $7,800. Then we got Pocky and Rocky with Becky for $13,500. That game is super expensive nowadays. I haven't played it. I wonder if it's any good. But some more cards here. Back in 2020, we got that Biometal for $14,000. I definitely would like to try out that shooter. It looks pretty good. We got Final Fight Tough, which I believe is part 3, for $10,000. Then Wild Guns 20,000. Ninja Warriors for $9,800. Sonic Blastman 2 for $6,000. Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems for $6,000. Pretty decent selection here. What else do we have? Back to the Future 2, $4,500. That game's a little bit pricier nowadays. Captain Commando for about $5,000. That was. Spider-Man Lethal Foes for just shy of $9,000. And then there's Dracula X. $6,000 was what the loose cart price was back then, and that's still consistent today. That hasn't changed one bit. Then Undercover Cops there. There's another copy of Dracula X. Kiki Kai Kai once again. Pocky and Rocky for $7,800. ActRaiser for $4,000. So a decent selection what they had back then, but they still have a pretty good selection now. It's just, you know, the price of entry is a lot higher. But here's like some box games that they had. That Wolverine's Adamantium Rage, $22,000. I played a little bit of that game, and you know, I'm a big fan of Wolverine, so would like to play that to its to completion. But back to present day. Here we got some Legend of Zelda action for $14,200. That copy is pretty clean, you know, and look at that artwork. That's amazing. That would make for a beautiful poster for the game room. And next to that, we have Game Boy's the Ninja Gaiden. It's like over $20,000, that one. And then just kind of going back here, look at this Silent Hill 2, 79,000 yen. Have no idea what this could be. Maybe a demo, perhaps? Highly collectible, probably. But now let's go ahead and take a tour of the store. And as you can see, the actual stacks are well stacked. The aisles, you know, you saw Saturn, Dreamcast, Super Famicom, Sega Mega Drive. So there's still quite a bit of healthy inventory throughout, like, you know, just the aisles. And we're just going to look through this. Of course, we're going to look at everything into detail after we kind of take a glimpse of everything that they have. They do have some PC Engine stuff, but I want to say that section was pretty weak. And the N64. But, you know, if you come here, I would still recommend coming here just because it's very convenient, especially, you know, if you're on vacation in Tokyo, you know, it's a easy access, not too far from the station. And I would definitely come with targets in mind because it's a fairly big section and you could easily spend hours. So if you come with the plan, that can save you time. Especially if you're, you know, coming to Japan with people that are not really interested in with games, not really into games. But look at all these loose carts. Just here in this area alone, you can spend quite a bit. Now I have no problem buying loose carts. In fact, I recently got R-Type 3, the third Lightning for the Super Famicom. Just the cart, because it's way less expensive than getting it complete in box. And I just want to play it more than just having it decorating the shelf. And then of course they're gonna have the newer stuff. This is right across from the buyback counter, and they had plenty of Switch and PlayStation 4. I don't show those consoles, as well as PlayStation 5, but they had plenty of it. And then here, look at this, just more aisles of this stuff. This is the PlayStation. We did see the PlayStation section, but we're gonna go in here, and the purpose is just to show you the amount that they have, not really getting into the details just yet. But there's the PlayStation section. We got some PSP, quite a bit of PSP, look at that. And then directly opposite, PlayStation 2. just stacks of PlayStation 2 games. And then we got some miscellaneous stuff, and then Game Boy and Game Boy Advance here. That stuff's in the box. We'll take a look at this end cap in a bit, and we will go down this aisle. In fact, let's take a look at the end cap before we head down into the aisle. And this is where you're gonna find a lot of the loose Game Boy and Game Boy Color cards. Some pretty decent stuff in here. And you know the whole peg thing, the peg hook thing. Sometimes it makes it hard to shop because you're just looking cart by cart. But PlayStation Vita, plenty of PlayStation Vita games. And look at this, Xbox. Quite a bit of Xbox games. And PlayStation 3. Can't forget about the PS3. On the opposite side of that is where you'll find PS4, Switch, and whatnot. Then we got the 3DS, DS, and what we saw over there was the Wii. But let's go ahead and look at a few of these games, so we can see that it's not all sports titles, but we have Sonic Drift there for the Game Gear. And I'll pull out Echo the Dolphin. Pretty cool cover there. But you know what? If you're into sports games, they got those too. Here we go. 700 yen, Joe Montana's football. And then Sega CD. And then this price here, Sonic CD. There's a little bit of damage to the manual, but 3,500. That game usually goes for 5,000 and up nowadays. So not too bad of a price on that one. And then let's just check out these Mega Drive games. A lot of good stuff here. We got Outrun for 4,300. Pretty cool cover, that one. And Ghostbusters, 8,600. I'm surprised this one isn't behind the glass. I have never played this game, but I hear a lot of good things about it. Pretty cool cover too, pretty iconic. I remember seeing the movie last summer, which wasn't, whatever. What else do we have here? Oh, Shinobi. The Super Shinobi, as it's known in Japan, for 5,900. Now the backside is totally poster quality. Look at this. That's stunning artwork there. Good stuff. And then we have Thunder Force 3 coming in at 6,900 yen. Now I have this game on 3DS. So that's where I'll be playing. And then here we go, Sonic Spinball. Don't really care about the game too much, but that cover, probably top 3 covers for the Mega Drive for me. And then we got Super Street Fighter 2, 8,700 yen. Kind of pricey on the Mega Drive. And then we have Dai Makaimura for 4,900, classic cover. But there you saw the Sonic games there. We got Mercs 2 for 9,800. That's another one that maybe should be behind the glass, but there is a few games here. So although the display case was a little bit bare bones, there's a lot of good stuff in the stacks. Then N64, we got Smash Bros for 2,200 yen, and this is a pretty clean copy. Not bad, the condition on that. And we got Star Fox 64 for 1,800. I really want to get this complete. I love that game on the N64. And on the 3DS, it's even better. 007 for 5,600, and then F-Zero for 3,700. I picked this one up cart only for about 500 yen. And it's actually pretty good. Pretty entertaining, this F-Zero business. What else we got? Mega Man Legends, 8,500 yen. I have this. I got it loose cart for like 800 yen or something like that. But it's not as good as the PlayStation version. It's not a very good conversion. Then we got Violence Killer. I believe this is Turok 3. Good old Turok. And then next to the N64, they had a junk section with original Xboxes. It's been like, I want to say, I don't want to, maybe years since I've seen those things. But that one caught me off guard. And then back to the cards here. Let's take a look at a few of these up close. Get some information here. We got The Legend of the Mystical Ninja for 1,000. 500 for Street Fighter 2. In fact, 500 for Turbo and Super Street Fighter 2. Those are great games on the Famicom. And then 900 for Rockman X, Mega Man X. Samurai Spirits, 900 yen. That's not too bad. The Genesis port is actually pretty good. Then we have Thunder Spirits for 1,700. Not a bad shooter. I haven't played that one since the mid-90s. Good old Thunder Spirits. What else do we have here? We got some Mickey Mouse, 500 yen. Then Breath of Fire for 800 yen. That Mickey Mouse game is Mystic Magical Quest is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Then just some random stuff, more junk items. Sometimes you can find pretty good stuff in there. Then Double Dragon there for 2,400 yen. I remember playing that one too. I haven't played that one since I rented it last, which was in the early 90s. My goodness. And then just some more random stuff in here. What do we got? An AV cable for the Famicom, Super Famicom. And a Super Famicom for 2,800. That's definitely overpriced. Junk section has them for about 500 yen. And then Mega Drive games in the loose cart form. Disk drive. All sorts of stuff just hanging here. In fact, I spent quite a bit of time here. But actually, you know, I arrived like an hour before closing. So I started filming and getting down to business as soon as I arrived. But we have 1,500 for the Rockman there on the Famicom. I think that was what, part 4 or 5? But quite a bit of Famicom games too. And as you look through here, you're gonna find something good. Then the PC Engine section. Now this was probably one of the weaker selections that they had. You know, this is a fairly popular system, and all the good stuff has long been sold. And then just some random stuff down there. But we have Bonanza Bros for 3,900. This is for the Super CD ROM system. And yeah. But anyhow, we're going to just bypass that section and go to the Dreamcast area. The Dreamcast area, it's about the same size. It hasn't really changed much in the last few years. But we have Dynamite Deca for 3,700, a little bit of damage there to the manual. And then we have Zombie Revenge for 2,100. That's a prequel to House of the Dead. Great little funky game. 4,300 for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And then we have, 9,400 for Techromancer is what it's known in the West. And then Daytona USA for 3,300. This was one of the last, or one of the more recent purchases I made for the Dreamcast. Then we got Choo Choo Rocket. This one was pretty cool. And then we have Charge and Blast for 6,100. I haven't seen this one in quite a bit. I've never played it though, so it could be pretty entertaining. And then what else do we have? We have Rival Schools there, 5,800. And then Third Strike for 3,300. The PS2 version is better and it's less expensive. And then we have 3,200 for Resident Evil 2. But look at this, 1,200 for without the OB or the spine card and the manual. So that's quite a bit of savings there. What else do we got? Code Veronica for 700. Although going back to Third Strike, it is worth it on the Dreamcast just because there's a couple video fidelity options that it has. But 1,800 for Rena Hero. And what do we have here? The fan disc for Capcom vs. SNK 2. Then we have the Pro version for 3,600, which that one has been consistent. And then Part 2 for 3,700. That one has been slowly rising. But again, it's available on PlayStation 2 for less than 1,000 yen. So here we have Sega Saturn. And now in this bin, we're going to take a look at a particular item in the bin, as it was pretty surprising. But look at this. It's the Victor Saturn pad for 2,500. So it just goes to show, you know, definitely take your time when you're browsing. And then we have Puzzle Bobble 2X. I was meaning to get that and I totally forgot just because I was pressed for time. But we have Hat Trick Hero for 1,400. This is another Taito game. Kind of curious about the Saturn port. Seems like it's pretty decent. Then we have this. I don't know. This is some kind of like adventure game, maybe like a point and click for 3,100 yen. But it has some pretty good animation, and I've seen a couple videos online, and it seems a bit decent. Although it's heavy on the Japanese language there. So What else do we have? Techno Motor, I have no idea what that is. Sonic Wings for 7,500 yen. Sonic Wings Special. And then we have another Taito Chase compilation disc for 10,500. The other one was about 2,000 yen more. Really want to get this on the Saturn. Then we have Sonic Jam for 4,300. That one is slowly rising. And then we got the Salamander Deluxe Pack for 7,000. That one's has been pretty consistent in its price. Then we have Cubidus, something like that. Gunstar or Guardian Heroes, 6,200. That one has been rising. I sold my copy, and I still have a copy on the Xbox, which is more than enough for me. And then X-Men vs. Street Fighter at 8,200. Sometimes that game could be a little bit more or a little bit less. Then we have Vampire Savior for 6,200. And some more Saturn stuff. What do we have there? Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, 7,000 yen. And Magic Knight Ray Earth, 1,900. And this is a little bit of damage. Now the one in the back is 2,600. That game used to be about 500 yen, so that's another one that's going up in value. Then we have Layer Section 2, 9,800, and Last Bronx for 1,400. Last Bronx used to fill the junk bins for about 100, 200 yen. Rockman X3, and there's that Layer Section for 9,800. They also have Part 1, 4,000. That was Layer Section 2. That's Layer Section. And then what do we have here? Some earlier Saturn games, and then Famicom games in the box. Some pretty good stuff in here, actually. I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw. Although I wish I wish I had more time. I should have arrived here earlier, but I kind of just squeezed it into my day. But here we go. What do we got? World Heroes 2 for over or just shy of 5,000 yen. And it looks like it might be missing the manual. Something's going on with it. So it would be more expensive if it didn't have that tag. That's kind of crazy. Now look at this cover, Prince of Persia. My goodness. This is worthy of a poster. Looks freaking awesome. And I have this game, but I have it on the PC Engine. But 8,000 there, almost 9,000 yen. I believe that's what it was. I was just so distracted by that cool cover. And then we have Secret of Mana 3 for 1,300. Shin Megami for 1,800. What else we got? Let's pull out that Street Fighter 2 for 1,200 yen. Star Fox for 2,400. I remember I got my boxed copy for about 500 yen. And you can still find it for that low. You just have to hunt a little bit more. But this is the place for convenience. We got the low-hanging fruit here. And then we got the Illusion of Gaia. This was one of the coolest, is one of the coolest action RPGs on the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. I had a great time playing this game way back in the day. Still remember the music. It was really catchy. And I believe it's a part of a series, if I'm not mistaken. And a couple clone systems back down there. And then we have, I think this is Saturday Night Slam Masters, as it's known in the West, Muscle Bomber, Capcom game. I think that one also has Hager in it from Final Fight. And then Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star, 2,200 yen. Now this is a fighting game, I believe, and it's a shame it doesn't have more screenshots, as I'm a little bit interested in that one. And then we have Dragon Quest 3. This is the remake, 3,400 for the Super Nintendo. Now the intro to this game looks freaking awesome. I wonder, did this get ported, also get another remake on the 3DS? I need to look that up. Or the DS maybe? But guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I had a fun time filming here. But anyhow, definitely more to come, so stay tuned. Ciao.